The landscape for internet computer is shifting in a foundational, tectonic way we haven't witnessed in years, and the fuse for its real, substantive growth phase is not just lit, it's burning steadily toward ignition. But before we meticulously chart that potential course across both micro and macro horizons, we absolutely must first unpack, scrutinize, and truly comprehend a singular, staggering claim from the project's leadership, a declaration that doesn't just challenge the status quo, but actively seeks to redefine the very essence of what it means to be a creator, a builder in the digital age. Okay, welcome back. Today we're embarking on a comprehensive, multi-layered examination of the ICP ecosystem. We'll dissect the chart for near-term technical signals and pivotal levels, but our journey must begin on a much broader, conceptual plane. This video is created for educational and informational purposes only. It does not promote or endorse. All information presented here is based on publicly available sources and independent analysis. Viewers are encouraged to conduct their own research before making any financial or technological decisions. My evolving analysis strongly suggests we are entering not just a dip, prime strategic accumulation window, a moment of maximum opportunity that often precedes major re-ratings. However, our essential starting point, the cornerstone of this entire thesis, is a major, provocative statement from Dominic Williams, ICP's founder and chief architect. He contends with deliberate emphasis that currently more active projects, more functional applications are being launched and built on the internet computer blockchain than on all other competing blockchains combined. At first superficial glance, that audacious claim seems mathematically improbable, even hyperbolic, if we rigidly adhere to the old entrenched crypto rulebook. Traditionally, the entire industry has measured developer momentum and vitality through metrics like GitHub commit frequency, developer conference attendance, or by counting the number of programmers formally skilled in niche languages like Solidity, Rust, or Move. Dominic Williams, however, is executing a profound intellectual and strategic maneuver. He is radically expanding the very definition of a builder. This isn't semantics. It's a strategic masterstroke. Here's the genuine paradigm shift, the conceptual pivot point that changes absolutely everything about our assessment of ICP's ultimate potential scale and addressable market. On the vast majority of legacy smart contract chains, building has always been synonymous with professional, complex coding. It necessitates specialized, often esoteric knowledge, a high learning curve that inherently limits the global active participant pool to perhaps a few 100,000 individuals worldwide, and that's being generously optimistic. The internet computer, especially following the groundbreaking debut and integration of caffeine AI, completely and utterly flips this entire script on its head. The revolutionary proposition is this: now, you categorically do not need to master a single formal programming language or syntax. If you can articulate instructions in plain conversational English or intuitively interact with a simple, guided graphical interface, you possess the capability to create, deploy, and manage a fully live, on-chain, autonomous application, a canister. This transforms the activity from an act of specialized engineering into an act of pure creativity and intention. Let that profound implication truly settle in. It means the potential global builder base is no longer constrained to the hundreds of thousands. It explosively expands to encompass literally billions of internet-connected individuals. This democratizing vision was the absolute core, the pulsating heart, of Dominic's message during the Caffeine launch event. This is a mobile era, democratizing revolution akin to the leap from desktop publishing to social media content creation. With a standard smartphone and a spark of an idea, anyone, anywhere can become a builder. Even if these new pioneers initially craft relatively simple tools, utilities, or digital storefronts, the sheer, overwhelming volume of generated activity, the millions of microtransactions, data requests, and compute cycles fundamentally transforms the entire adoption narrative and economic model. ICP isn't just lowering the technical barrier to entry, it's demolishing the entire wall and laying out a welcome mat for global creativity. Now, here's the critical nuance that makes the current early-stage data so exceptionally compelling and credible. This initial growth wave is demonstrably happening in a raw, organic fashion, well before any coordinated, full-scale commercial rollout or massive marketing bombardment. Another vital point emphasized in the announcement is that the Caffeine AI agent framework remains, as of now, in a controlled beta phase. There hasn't been a massive, saturation-level marketing blitz across traditional or digital media channels. Sure, some observant individuals within the crypto Twitter sphere may have encountered targeted ads, but this faint signal is not the main promotional event. Therefore, the genuine user and builder traction we're currently observing, the rising count of canisters, the active sessions, is largely driven by organic discovery, genuine utility, and word of mouth. People are finding the tool inherently useful for real tasks and sticking around to build more. Now, pose this critical hypothetical. If this is the measurable pre-launch, beta phase activity, what monumental wave of adoption might follow the official, polished, widely publicized global release, which is anticipated within the coming weeks? The inescapable conclusion is that we are, without a doubt, at the absolute nascent beginning of an exponential adoption curve for this new paradigm. This logically brings us to the pivotal question you might be quietly pondering. Why does this architectural shift translate into a fundamentally bullish case for the native ICP token itself, beyond mere philosophical appeal? I believe there are three interlocking core economic and strategic reasons, each reinforcing the other. Reason number one is the most direct and mechanically elegant. It involves a powerful built-in economic mechanism that could inevitably trigger a sustained supply shock. Every single application, every microservice built via Caffeine or any other tool manifests as a canister, a secure, scalable smart contract unit on the internet computer network. To operate continuously, to execute its code and store its data, these canisters must consume computational fuel known as cycles. Here is the crucial, non-negotiable link. Cycles are obtained exclusively by converting and permanently burning ICP tokens. This burn mechanism is a core, designed feature of the protocol's tokenomics. So, let's extrapolate. Imagine a future where not thousands, but millions of non-technical entrepreneurs, artists, and community leaders globally begin deploying their own functional applications. The aggregate burn rate for ICP tokens could skyrocket, transitioning from a steady trickle to a roaring river. In the mid to long term, as this burn accelerates against a relatively fixed or slowly growing supply, it could consistently push the token into a profoundly deflationary state, where circulating supply actively shrinks. If application development scales even remotely as projected, the consequent impact on ICP's valuation floor and potential appreciation could be nothing short of profound. The underlying fundamentals are quietly aligning to support this very trajectory, even while short-term market sentiment and price action appear muted or pessimistic. Indeed, the platform that most enthusiastically welcomes the most builders, regardless of their formal credentials or technical pedigree, ultimately wins in the marathon of digital infrastructure. This is a historical truth, observed from the web to mobile app stores. Second, technological and commercial history consistently, ruthlessly reward supreme ease of use and frictionless accessibility. The simplest, most intuitive platforms invariably achieve runaway mass adoption. Caffeine and the ICP ecosystem at large systematically eliminates the traditional daunting blockchain barriers. There are no gas fee surprises, no cryptic seed phrase management nightmares, and absolutely no coding complexity to wrestle with. A motivated user can conceptually imagine, design, and establish a blockchain-based business or service in minutes, not months. Once an individual or business experiences this level of streamlined sovereign creation, the idea of migrating back to a more complex, costly, and restrictive chain becomes not just illogical, but almost unthinkable. I pose a simple challenge. Can you name a single other major blockchain ecosystem today that offers a truly comparable, zero-code, fully functional on-chain application builder that is this accessible? The silent answer to that rhetorical question powerfully underscores ICP's unique and currently uncontested positioning within this specific high-growth vector. The third and perhaps most underappreciated reason is about building inherent economic resilience and achieving a degree of decoupling from the manic depressive cycles of general cryptocurrency market volatility. I often emphasize, across many analyses, the immense long-term value of supporting projects whose core utility extends beyond pure speculative trading and exists in the real world. Too many Layer 1 chains today thrive primarily during periods of intense market hype and speculative fervor. In a prolonged grinding bear market or a crypto winter, their on-chain activity and genuine usage can evaporate, revealing a lack of sustainable demand. However, if a blockchain's primary use case, like enabling a local business owner to create a loyalty program, an artist to mint a dynamic artwork, or a community to run a governance vote, exists independently of crypto market sentiment, then its underlying activity remains steady, resilient, and demand-driven. ICP, through this new builder-for-all paradigm, is actively constructing that very independent utility engine. It's cultivating an economy of use, not just speculation. This means the network isn't merely riding the volatile waves of the broader crypto tide. It is laboriously creating its own, self-sustaining ocean of utility. In summary, Dominic's central argument is that the old, narrow developer war among chains, fighting over the same tiny pool of elite Solidity engineers, is now strategically obsolete. Instead of exhaustively competing for the privileged 1% who can code, ICP is boldly opening the digital gates and inviting the overlooked 99% who possess ideas, drive, and domain expertise, but not necessarily a computer science degree. In the long run, the network that successfully hosts the greatest diversity and volume of functional applications, built by the most diverse array of global citizens, will inevitably win through the unstoppable power of compounded network effects. That, stripped to its essence, is the core, long-term bullish thesis for the internet computer. I intimately understand that when token prices are languishing near cyclical lows, positive fundamental news can feel abstract, distant, and disconnected from the painful reality of your portfolio. But seasoned investors recognize that these precise moments of pessimism and disconnection are historically where the most significant generational opportunities are quietly assembled. As the legendary investor Warren Buffett famously observed, the market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient, emotional participants to the disciplined, patient ones. Right now, this principle is paramount. Conducting your own rigorous, dispassionate research is more critical than ever. Don't just take my word as gospel. Diligently look into the fundamentals of ICP, NEAR, and other foundational Layer 1 projects you believe in. If your research leads you to conviction, then a strategy of systematic, strategic accumulation during these pessimistic dips, followed by resolute, almost stoic patience, becomes the essential key to capturing the potential upside. Now, let's pivot briefly to examine the more immediate short-term chart perspective, which provides a complementary tactical view. I believe the price action is finally coiling into that strategic accumulation zone I've previously highlighted. Recall from my prior analysis that once ICP decisively broke below the key psychological support level, I identified a significant price gap and a strong historical support confluence zone between roughly $320 and $340. Since price gaps on significant charts are statistically filled over 95% of the time, a continued move down into that target zone appeared highly probable. As we can now observe on the current chart, that predicted gap has been neatly and completely filled, bringing a measure of technical closure. Pay exceptionally close attention to the structure unfolding here on the daily timeframe. The recent descent represents what I would label as the second distinct downward phase or leg for ICP, following its last major high. Now, critically observe and compare the geometry. The slope or angle of this most recent decline is noticeably less steep, more gradual than the aggressive slope of the first down leg. This deceleration in bearish momentum, this loss of downward urgency, is a classic, though not infallible, technical suggestion that selling pressure is progressively waning, that bears are exhausting their immediate ammunition. It often indicates the market may be probing for and approaching a significant local or interim low. For those who missed earlier ideal entry points, this structural development could potentially present another calculated opportunity for strategic positioning. So, does this mean we should be outright, aggressively bullish on the hourly chart at this very second? Prudence dictates that caution is still warranted. We require a specific, confirmatory price signal for higher confidence. To more confidently call a sustainable bottom and the start of a new impulsive uptrend, I would ideally want to witness the development of a clear, clean, five-wave impulsive structure advancing to the upside, one that powerfully reclaims and sustains above the recent swing high near the 390 region. Such a pattern would strongly signal that a larger degree upward wave, wave 3 in Elliott wave terms, is likely beginning, setting the stage for a more sustained recovery. Until such a structure emerges and confirms, we must acknowledge the possibility that the current bounce is merely a corrective zigzag within a larger, still unfolding consolidation pattern, implying further sideways grinding or even another test of lower levels remains possible. Furthermore, complicating any immediate tactical move is a major looming macroeconomic event that makes the next 72-96 hours particularly hazardous for initiating new short-term trades. The upcoming Federal Open Market Committee (FOMC) meeting and, more importantly, the nuanced commentary from Chairman Jerome Powell will be the dominant force dictating near-term sentiment across all risk assets, including cryptocurrencies. A surprisingly dovish tone, hinting at future rate cuts, could ignite a relief rally across markets. Conversely, a hawkish cut scenario, a cut paired with warnings of persistent inflation, could trigger renewed risk-off pressure and selling. Therefore, any immediate pre-meeting price movement in ICP or the broader crypto complex may prove to be unreliable, whipsaw-prone, and ultimately untradeable for most. The strategically prudent move here is disciplined patience. Carefully watch the market's digested reaction to the FOMC statements, allow the initial volatility to settle, and then reassess the new technical landscape with clearer macro information. The overarching synthesized takeaway from both fundamental and technical lenses? Aggressive bearish momentum is demonstrably fading, and these price regions around historical support represent what I believe are ideal zones for patient strategic accumulation by long-term believers. I hope this detailed, multifaceted breakdown has provided valuable clarity on both the revolutionary fundamental shift underway with ICP's builder ecosystem and the more immediate tactical chart setup we are navigating. If you find this deep dive into the future of decentralized technology valuable, please support this channel. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.